I really want to see how we go about creating a world of readers. We badly need one. And by the way, Erica said to me, "Are you ready for the haters?" And I thought, who in the world would hate a book publisher? I am a nothing. Like, I'm a book publisher. Like, who would hate me? She was completely correct. I had this conversation 2 weeks ago with one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the book world. We were sitting with one another at dinner, and he said to me, "Can you believe how far we've gotten?"
If I knew what it took to get here when we started, I don't know if I even had the gumption to do it.
The people who work in the book space are extraordinary people, and we are really lucky that it's crazy lucky that we get to do this, right?
No doubt. One of the things you love most about being a leader is helping put others in a position to succeed.
I like giving people their wildest dreams.
Oh, I love that.
I want to change the world.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think the world needs changing.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree.
Agreed.
Right?
So, I've been waiting for this for a really long time. We are here for Dominique Raccah, a literary legend. A friend.
A friend is for sure true.
A supporter of Bernie's Book Bank, a supporter of me as a person.
Always.
And a great example. And
Always.
so I'm looking forward to just having a nice little conversation with you, Dominique, and just thank you so much for your time. We're going to start with hopefully an easy question, which is, how do we get here? Just give me a little bit about your childhood and how we got to Sourcebooks.
I was an avid reader from a very young age, and I think, and I bet there's going to be people who are into books have this experience. When you hit your teens, you may not fit in perfectly into the world. I think that's one of the experiences of teenhood,
yes,
as it were. And that drove me even further into books. And so when I chose a company to start, it was pretty natural that I would gravitate towards.
And what year was that?
That was 1987. Mm-hmm. And it was a long time. It seems like a long time ago. And it was pretty natural that I would gravitate to attempting self-publishing books, which is what I did. I self-published the first book. And then from there, I got very lucky, and I learned a lot. So I kept learning and growing the business until we're here today, right? Sourcebooks today, 350 employees, many, like we had 18 New York Times bestsellers last week. So huge kind of last week. We had...
how many books, if I can interrupt you for a minute, how many books has Sourcebooks published?
In total, I have no idea.
Thousands.
Oh, thousands, for sure. We publish 700 to 800 a year. Yeah. So thousands.
And you still love it.
I love book publishing and books, yeah.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Paris, France.
Really?
I did.
I did not know that. And do you have siblings?
I do. I have 3 younger brothers and sisters.
So you're the first.
I am the eldest.
Okay, so I'm a middle child, so I think I'm okay saying this. So I used to fight that, like, what's a middle child? I'm no middle child. I have to admit today, I am the epitome.
Are you the epitome of a middle child?
I am, whatever that means.
Right?
Which means I think you might be the epitome of a firstborn.
I am probably the epitome of a firstborn. I am a pain in the neck.
Well, but you're a bar setter. I mean, do you feel like you were that as young?
I think all eldest children feel like they always have to do everything perfectly. They always have to do it right. They never get cut any slack. So to all of you who are listening, who are firstborns, no, I see you.
Yes. Well, I obviously had an older brother, so I was the middle child. I have a younger sister, and my older brother is little Bernie. And so I had a dad, Bernie, and then a brother, Bernie. And so I was either Bernie's little brother or I've been called Bernie a lot. And now that we have Bernie's Book Bank, I get
People
called,
expect you to be Bernie, right?
Correct.
They expect exactly.
Correct.
But you're Brian.
Yeah, I'm Brian. That's for sure. But
you are Brian.
But I see it as a compliment when somebody calls me Bernie. That's for sure. So your siblings were sisters, brothers,
2 brothers and a sister.
and who's your favorite? No, I'm just kidding. You do have a favorite, I know, in your head, but I won't make you answer that question.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel good about not answering that.
She loves them all.
I do.
Hey, this is Christy, and I'm back with BUKU Bits. Today, I have the all-day Stanley Julian Mini Soft Cooler. This is cool for the backyard get-together, the hike, the kids' game, or the picnic at the park. It'll hold 10 cans and it stays cool for 12 hours. There's many decoration options to put your beautiful logo right here. It's great for new hire kits, rewards, recognition. If you purchase this through BUKU branded, we are the only distributor that can decorate it, ship it, and then reinvest 100% of our net profits into 4 literacy beneficiaries to advance literacy in America. If you're interested in purchasing this, www.bukubranded.com. We can't wait to take your order.
Tell me about your parents a little bit.
My dad was a physics professor, and my mom was a scientist, and my mom was a lawyer.
Wow.
And I come from a deeply scientific family, so I am not by a long shot the smartest person in my family.
But you love data.
I am not. So I this is for sure true. I grew up as Dr. Raccah's daughter. I got married to Dr. Bennett, and I became Dr. Bennett's wife. And now I am Dr. Raccah's mother. So
Correct.
So I live in a world in which,
Yes.
I live in a very scientific academic community.
And so what do you admire most about your parents?
I think, that they had the courage to come to the United States from a community that is very different, right? Like coming to the States as an immigrant, we're hearing a lot about that now, right?
What year was this?
This was this would have been in the late 60s.
And why did they come?
So my dad got a job at that mecca for scientists, MIT.
Oh, I've heard of it.
You've heard of it, right?
Yes.
So listen, nobody turns down MIT, which
Yeah.
is basically what he told his dad.
Yeah. And are your parents still with us?
No,
No.
they died really young,
Okay.
both of them, and so that was another thing that was really weird. I thought I was going to die really young. There was always a race in my head because
Yeah.
I expected that I would not make it past 50.
Yeah, that's
You
bizarre
know.
because I've had the same feeling.
Yeah, you have, right?
And I made it to 51.
There you go, right? Like, so
Yay.
you feel really good.
Yeah, I'm feel blessed. Did they see the success of Sourcebooks at all? Were they able
My
to see
dad
that?
did. My dad saw. So my mom went before. They both died of cancer. My mom went before my dad, and my dad saw. There was an article. God bless him. There was a reporter. His name was who was at the Wall Street Journal, and he did an article for me in the Wall Street Journal. He did an article about me in the Wall Street Journal, and it was like very early and my dad was like such a proud daddy. I mean, he was like such a proud guy, right? And that was kind of, and I remember him saying to me, you're the only one of my kids who gets written up in the Wall Street Journal. I was like, very proud dad, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if your parents were sitting here today, what do you think they'd say to you?
I think they'd be really surprised. I mean, I can't imagine, I'm really surprised, Brian. I mean, and I've said that to you. And I think you've said back to me how surprised you are about all that you've gotten done with Bernie's Book Bag, too. I think I think this is I had this conversation 2 weeks ago with one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the book world. And we were sitting with one another at dinner, and he said to me, "Can you believe how far we've gotten?"
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know?
Well, I call that being perfectly naive. Like if you knew what it would take, I mean, you're a strong person. I'm pretty stubborn myself and believe and willing to run through brick walls. But I think if I knew what it took to get here when we started, that I don't know if I even had the gumption to do it. Do you subscribe to that a little bit? Like
You would never have done it.
Yeah.
Well, I would never have done it. You probably would have done it.
No.
But if I had had a clue what it looked like, I think it's pretty damn hard to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, on a good day.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. So let's dig into. We're gonna transition to. There's gonna be a common theme to us.
All right.
Some of these questions.
What are we discussing?
Well-
what is your view here?
Well, it's your view that matters.
Okay, but well, it's your questions, man.
Correct. I feel really empowered here. I mean, I have to admit, like the first time I met you, I was pretty intimidated, and I'm still pretty intimidated now. And it's a compliment. It's you. I admire you. And what I admire most is just your guts. And you know, you're somebody I really look up to. And
Well, back at you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
You know,
that.
I think there's the people who work in the book space are extraordinary people, and we are really lucky that it's crazy lucky that we get to do this, right?
No doubt. There's a lot of worse things we could be doing. That's
Yeah.
for sure. So let's talk about leadership a little bit. When did you first realize you were a leader?
I think the first time that I got a real board position, I think actually the first time I was terrified about leadership was when Jan Nathan pushed me to the board of the book industry study group. And she was like, "You're going to represent all the little presses." And I was like, "I don't know how that works. I don't know what that means. And I don't think I can do it."
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of the above.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the best leaders, it called them, it chose them. They didn't decide, I'm going to be a leader. It's just that's what happens. And so what do you enjoy most about being a leader?
I love the moment when it really makes a difference for somebody. And I think that's true for the best leaders that I know, is the moment where, you know, for an author, you give them something that they never dreamt was possible. For a team member, they accomplish something they didn't even know they could do.
Yeah.
Like or for a retailer, you do a promotion that you know surprises them and delights them, or you push really hard with them for an author and then you accomplish something extraordinary.
Yep.
I like impact. I like it. I like a lot of it.
Yeah, I know you do. So what I
and
hear you saying is one of the things you love most about being a leader is helping put others in a position to succeed.
I like giving people their wildest dreams.
Oh, I love that.
I really do, and I do a lot of it. You know, and I'm really grateful that people, you know, entrust us with their dreams.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're definitely a dream maker. You've helped make that true at Bernie's Book Bank on many, many levels. What do you think the biggest challenge is in being a leader?
There are days when it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, don't you think?
Yeah.
I've told people this. There is no world in which anybody got training for how to lead through the pandemic.
Yeah.
There isn't a moment in which we were like, "Oh yes, by the way, here's the class in which you're going to learn how you're going to take care of your employees, your retailers, and your authors during this, you know, shutdown of the economic
Yeah.
world as we know it."
Yeah. What's one thing you learned about yourself during the pandemic that you didn't know before?
I think I really saw really had a choice as a leader
Yep.
between your own humanity and the external noise that was going on.
Yep.
And I found over and over again that I was finding that humanity could help other people, and that we could together create something that was enormously empowering.
And despite the pressure and the
Despite
stress.
what was going on externally.
Well, you know what they say. Pressure and heat make diamonds.
Yeah, and I kept saying to people during that whole time period, don't worry about what's going on out there. Let's talk about what's going on in here. What's going on in here is actually really good. We did extraordinary growth through that whole period, which seemed to me really unlikely.
Right. Yeah.
I just want to say.
Well, it's kind of amazing
I
how
it was pretty unlikely.
some of these things flipped. Like, I'm a big golfer, and what's interesting about golf in the pandemic is that leading up to the pandemic, golf was somewhat on the decline. And one I guess, depends on how you look at it, but a positive piece of the pandemic, especially for the golf industry, is that it made people come back to the game and spend time outside. And but it is weird how it was surprising industries that ended up thriving that
you really wouldn't know.
Correct.
Right?
Or what you wouldn't have bet on.
Yeah.
So what are some leaders that you look up to and why?
What I realized about the leaders I look up to is they're all deeply unconventional.
Nuh-uh. That's not shocking to me.
It's true. It is. This is
So
the truth.
give me some.
So I'm really drawn to people who had to stand up in moments that were just incredibly. Zelensky is a guy who had to stand up in a moment that was terrifying to him and to his nation and create something completely new, a completely different playbook. That's a very unconventional leader. And I have to tell you, many of the people that I look up to the most are, for example, women authors within my own industry. So E.L. James, that woman defined a genre and defined the industry. And she took so much shit. I mean, she took so much stuff.
Yep.
And who she is today and how she talks and the decisions she makes, I have learned so much from her. I've learned so much from a number of my authors who I really look up to because they, in a way, the bigger the author gets, the more heat they take. And by the way, Erica said to me, E.L. James said to me, when we started working together, she said, are you ready for the haters? And I thought, who in the world would hate a book publisher? I am a nothing. Like, I'm a book publisher. Like, who would hate me? She was completely correct.
Yep.
Yep. The more successful we became, the more the haters came out. And that just is what happens.
Yep.
In the world of leading and success, which was also a thing I didn't know.
Yeah, someone once told me that, Brian, when you stick your head up above the crowd, people will shoot at you.
Yeah.
And whether that's envy or whether that's, who knows, but it's true. And as I've been trying to teach my children, if you want to be great, you got to learn how to ignore noise and first be able to decipher what is noise and what is wisdom. And really get focused on the things that really matter.
And so I've started being really ultra focused on making a difference, having an impact, creating the success for other people, like getting out of my own head and just doing what really is a contribution for other people, because that will make a difference.
Hey, check this out. I'm in my happy place. I'm sitting on my comfy 10-tree blanket. I've got my Stanley cooler filled with tasty beverages. I've got my speaker ready to listen to my favorite podcast, Beyond the Bottom Line by BUKU branded. And I'm all lit up and ready for a party with my amazing 2-in-1 lantern, which helps me to read one of my favorite books. Did I tell you that 100% of our net profits go to literacy organizations in America? Make your brand memorable and make an impact on literacy in America. So help your employees, customers, and prospective customers get to their happy place through BUKUbranded.com.
So you just said something, getting out of your own head. Now, this is a head that nobody would want to live in. How about yours? What do you think people would find up there?
So I think I've said this to people. I am a deeply boring human being.
Really? I don't. Really?
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 I'm telling you.
I don't know
Brian,
about that,
I
Dominique.
am a deeply boring human being, which is why I have never written, anything for myself, because I'm really interested. I'm interested in creative personalities and in supporting and expanding their reach because they're much more interesting.
Yeah,
than
well,
I am.
I love the humility, and I think it's genuine.
It's for real.
But I know there's a lot going on up there.
Not that interesting.
And thank God. So every good book has a title, and every good podcast has a great title, and I think ours is pretty good, and that's Beyond the Bottom Line. And so staying on the leadership topic, how you look at the bottom line, define the bottom line, changed over time? Because, I'll lead you into that a little bit more.
Yeah, when I started, and this is the what's so of entrepreneuring. When you start a business, and you did too, this is true for all of us, you have to make money. And
yes,
the mythology of
right.
Follow your dream and blah, 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 bullshit.
Amen.
And bullshit.
Amen.
You
Preach.
have to make money.
Correct.
Guys, I hate to tell you this.
Correct.
But as you grow, how you think about making money changes.
Process.
Yes, how you conceptualize what you can do to make money changes.
Yep.
And so today I would say that my bottom line is around making a difference. We're really
and you live that.
We're an impact factory.
Yep.
We really
Impact Factory. Love that.
we really spend our time
Yes.
working on how to make a difference for authors. How do you improve discoverability? How do we connect you? And we do it globally. We do it, we do it every single day. We do it in marketing. We do it in editorial. We do it in sales. We do it across the board. We do it in design. And our goal is to be the best in the world at it.
Yeah. Well, you walk the walk, that's for sure. What advice would you give a young leader today?
Forget everything they tell you.
Who's they?
Look, I think there's, and I don't know how this works or why it works this way, but there is a sort of corporate management playbook that I think one has in one's head as a leader.
Yep.
I will say to you, it is largely incorrect.
Yeah.
And I figured that out in the worst moment of my life. So I've had terrible moments in my personal life, but in my professional life, the worst moment of my professional life was a moment where we were horrific. We had a string of horrific luck, and the economy was tanking, 2008. So all of that was true, right? And I owed a ton of money at that time, and the bank was calling.
Yep.
Right, like bankers, they call you.
I know the feeling of watching your bank balance and your accounts receivable, and
right, yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
It was really really fun. And in that moment, there was a fork in the road, and the fork in the road is Do you tell people what's going on? Do you help, right? Do you?
Yep.
But you remember 2008, everybody was doing layoffs. Everybody
Yep.
was doing, right? Like it was all very public that there were, that it was pretty shitty as an environment, right?
Yep.
Like you knew that was going on,
Yep.
right?
So there was an excuse already built in, but still.
Right. So I'll tell you something I did. In this very room, I held an all-company meeting.
Yep.
And the whole company at that time was about 60 people. We all fit.
Yep.
So
Yep.
all the chairs lined up, right? So, and people thought I was bringing them together. Remember what that
Yep.
time was, right?
Yep.
People thought that I was bringing them together to,
Have a funeral.
right? It was the hatchet, right? The hatchet was going to fall,
Yeah.
right? We all knew what was going to happen.
You're gonna bring in the bagpipes and.
Yep.
Yep.
And wish a whole bunch of them well,
Yep.
and
Yep.
there's the door.
Yep.
And instead, I stood up and I said, so I'm coming to you today as the owner of Sourcebooks. The owner of Sourcebooks doesn't show up that often. CEO of Sourcebooks shows up a lot, but the owner of Sourcebooks shows up almost never.
It's a good way to put it.
And I'm going to tell you now, we're going to lose not one job. Not one job. But here's the thing. You have to tell me how we do that. Now, somewhere in this building, probably over there, there is a chart, a graph of the possibility diagram that they created when we did that exercise. But you had 60 people put together their best ideas for how we were going to create something very different with Sourcebooks.
Now that's leadership.
Okay. We have done double-digit growth
Yep.
every year from that day forward. But that's why I say to young leaders, that was a completely different choice, Brian. That was the moment where the fork in the road was, do we do it the way that the
Yep.
sort of corporate machine that you know, like the
Yep.
playbook, you know what this is supposed to look
That would have been
like,
the easy
right?
way. Yep.
Or do you do it like, okay, I'm going to engage with all of you and I need all of your help. And we need to create this together.
Yep.
And that was the day that Sourcebooks, in some ways, was really born.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to take this moment before we go to the next kind of set of questions to ask, about Sourcebooks' tagline.
Books Change Lives.
Tell me about that.
Todd and I wrote that, I think we were still in the little house. So, I mean, we've been in here 25 years, so like it's more than 25 years old, right? So, and I wrote that because I wanted to think about why we were doing what we were doing. And look, every morning you get up,
Yep.
you got a checklist of stuff to do. And it's real easy to do the checklist,
Yep.
right? Like the checklist, you
Yeah.
know what it is.
It's the what.
It's the, right? And I really wanted to not think about the checklist. I wanted to think about the why.
Yeah.
The what is it we were trying to get done? And like, how would we know we were getting it done, right? And I've said this to authors. I said it as recently as last week when I was talking to a future very successful author of ours. I think I'm still a revolutionary.
There's no doubt about it.
And I still want to change the world with books.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When it's funny you say that because I often describe you as an activist publisher, that it's about changing the world. And I've said this, I don't know, but I suspect that you're in business, you want to make money, but what you're really here for is
I want to change the world.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think the world needs changing.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree,
Agreed.
right? World
Agreed.
needs changing.
Yeah. One more thing before we transition. and this pertains to some of the things you've been saying. What's one thing that about business you've learned, which your earlier self would be shocked by?
I think I didn't, because one has, or I had, I don't know about anybody else, because one has this vision of how business is supposed to work. I don't think I understood the power of authenticity and real connection. Like I really didn't.
Amen
I don't think I gave it credence.
Yes.
You know, I think for me it was, you know, I needed to be more polished, which I still need to be more polished.
Well, I can subscribe to that for myself.
You know,
Or not. I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not, right? Like maybe, you know, maybe it's okay to just say, hey, what I really want to do in the world is to change the world with books.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Maybe that's enough.
I think authenticity is something we just need way more of today. And I think people are afraid, right? Because, you know, and when you're being authentic, you expose yourself to what your weaknesses are and what you're not really good at. And I think also if you're authentic, you acknowledge that and you say, yeah, I'm pretty good at this, but I'm really not good at this at all. And I know that. And that's okay.
You know, the thing that really changed things for me was growth mindset. Mm-hmm. That idea. So again, growth mindset, it's not the toolbox of, you know, of most CEOs. It's not the way CEOs work, because there are meetings in which I say, I don't understand this. I don't know this. I don't like, what do we know about this? And how does this work? And I make very apparent that other people know a lot more. And, they, you know, it's just, I don't, you know, we have a very flat organization, and the people in my organization rock. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are, you know, a whole hell of a lot better at a lot of things than I am. Yeah.
Well, that's special, and I think that's what makes you a great leader. I mean, since you brought it up, what's the one thing right now you're really working on as a person or a leader?
I think better communication, like my communication skills. I think as a person right now, so first of all, in my family, I have a wide range of ages. I have from 3 years old to, you know, nearly 80. So I have like so communication in this family requires real deft touch, you know, to make sure that the 8-year-old understands, the 3-year-old understands, and the 50-year-old understands, like all of those people. So, yeah, I'm learning how to continuously improve my communication skills.
Nice. So thanks for sharing that. So let's shift a little bit into purpose. How would you define purpose?
I think that, you know, we have been working on creating a community of readers for our authors across lots of different genres, right? Whether it's romance or mystery or thriller. I'm really excited about that. And so, you know, I said this last week to a different author who I've been working with. I really want to see how we go about creating a world of readers. We badly need one. Yeah. And I think just allowing people to really learn the world through books and through other people's voices and views could be very, very useful.
Yeah, we might need that. That might
be
helpful.
That'd be helpful.
So you might have addressed this before, but like at what age and was there a moment in time where you knew that living purposely was how you were going to live?
I think that this is a thing that you develop as you get older, right? Yep. Like I'm not sure that I knew it at 20.
Yeah, for sure not me.
At 20, I had like other views, right? So I think as I got older, I became more intentional in my purposefulness, and or my purpose leaning, and today, I think purpose really matters. Mission really matters. You know, if you look at Sourcebooks' goals, we have a set of goals that are like
Yep.
many other organizations, SMART goals, right?
Yep.
And then we also have mission-driven goals, right, that are around mission. And they're about, we have a whole segment on outreach, and can we help people to just, grow the book community, and can we work on that? We have all, we're very much into, the right to read,
Yeah.
right? Like it is like anti-censorship. We care a lot. We are, very much leaning into that at this point, right? So we spend a lot of time thinking about those things,
Yep.
right?
I had a similar question, but I hope you look at it a little bit differently. What purpose-driven leader, dead or alive, would you like to have a cup of coffee with?
He's very much alive, but I mean, anytime Barack Obama would like to have a cup of coffee, I'll take the cup.
So, Barack,
Yeah,
that's the
for sure.
second invitation to have a cup of coffee on the Beyond the Bottom Line. So hopefully one day you'll respond. And if
Yeah,
you're going to
look,
respond to anyone, Dominique Raccah would be one for you. So
Yeah, well, I have no doubt that he has better things to do, but
I don't know.
but
I don't know.
And just so we're very clear, I also have a similar feeling about Michelle Obama. So any cup of coffee out of the
Well, if one comes, they could bring the other one.
they could come together. Even.
Right.
I could see
You
that.
think you could handle that?
I think I would. I think I would not make it through the meeting, but sure.
Yeah. Well, well, speaking of him, I mean, and her, like, what do you admire most about them?
The extraordinary courage it took to lead the nation, and I think we now have some insight into the depth of the negativity against that
Yeah.
particular group,
Yep.
and I think it was extraordinarily brave
Yeah.
and incredibly insightful. A lot of what they said was extraordinarily insightful. So I'm really grateful that I got a chance to be in Chicago when that was.
So
all.
you haven't met him?
I have never met him.
That
No.
shocks me.
Oh, I know. It's totally shocking.
I mean, what are they doing over there?
I don't know. What are they doing?
So, all right, I'm going to make you pick a dead one.
You know who I would love to have a cup of coffee with?
Yep.
Anais Nin.
Okay, and
You
why?
probably have never even heard of her.
I
right?
admit I've never heard of her.
Yeah.
But tell me about her.
So Nin, extraordinarily creative, really a genius, and incredible. She actually, very Margaret Atwood, who I have had cups of coffee with and dinners, and who is every bit as incredible as you imagined. But Nin was a creative genius who also happened to be, amongst other things, an artist, a psychologist, psychotherapist at one point. She was one of the early diarists. She also wrote erotica, but aside from all of that,
Interesting.
she also was a bigamist and married two men, because one is not enough for some. I would say I have nothing further to say.
To each their own.
To each their own.
So, as you look at the human race,
No
this is
small
a-
questions here, Brian.
No, we don't have time for small questions. What do you think? So this is why I asked this question, because as I look around, I mean, not even just the present, but kind of ever since I've been alive, I feel like, and maybe I missed something, but I feel like I've never heard a leader say, in any part of the world, what do we want the world to look like in 100 years, 250 years, 500 years? As you think about being a leader in Sourcebooks, I'm pretty sure that you've set forth game plans for the next 5, 10, 20 years, even if they were abstract. What do you think the bottom line should be for the human race?
I think we're living in extraordinarily difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never witnessed a time in which we have done more modeling of cruelty and modeling of toxicity in ways that are just not okay for either men or women. This is not an okay time. And I don't know how we walk back from that, but we have to. So what should our bottom line be? Access for all, education, critical thinking, creating joy in our communities, listening to one another, welcoming immigrants, making sure people have opportunities. I mean, I can give you a lot of lists because I think.
So you think the foundation for that is love?
I think the foundation for that is hope. And which is a thing that we badly need in this moment. And because I think toxicity comes from hope, perhaps, at least in part, from hopelessness. You know? I think if you look at incel culture, right? I mean, it's I'm going to get rejected if I go out there, right?
Yep.
Like, and that's kind of a hopeless moment, right? So can we create empowerment? Can we create connection, friendship? Like, we're publishing a big book on friendship. It's basic. It's called How to Make a Friend. She's incredible. The book's incredible. But we need it.
Well,
we need it today.
Well, what's the bottom line of making a friend, do you know?
Yeah.
What is it?
I mean, I think it's connection. It's
Yeah.
like, it is humanity. I think love is almost too big. I want to narrow it so that
Yeah.
you can make it more accessible for all, right? Like, can we create connection in small and big ways? You know?
Yeah. I mean, you look, think about it. You have an opportunity when you go to the gas station. You have an opportunity
Exactly.
when you go to the grocery store. You have an opportunity when someone's picking up your trash and you see them. There's an opportunity to connect at every moment in time. So what are you currently reading?
Okay, so I can't talk about it, which is really like a bummer.
Why? Because it's not out yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
That's the problem with this. You're reading everything before it comes out.
exactly, and not only that, but not only is it not out yet, it is not even announced. So one of my favorite authors just finished a new book. I can't tell you who it is. Can't tell you anything about it.
Is there a topic?
I can't tell you anything.
What color is it?
I think no, I can't even tell you that. Can't even tell you that.
All right, you're strong. All right.
I'm being very, very strong, but I finished it. Okay, so here's like what I love about being a book publisher. Okay, I read it like nonstop, and one of the things that is incredible about this job is that you know when a book is really sticky and you don't want to go to work. Like you say, oh, leave me alone. Could I not be in this meeting so I could read so-and-so's book? I got up at 3 a.m. to finish this book. I finished it Saturday morning. Just so you know, I finished it Saturday morning.
This book that you can't disclose.
I can't tell you
You
anything
woke up
about
at
it.
3 a.m. to finish it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's that good.
Man.
It is. And it ends on a cliffhanger, which is like you go. You do.
Authenticity. Yeah.
You
I love
go-
it. Okay, so
Yeah.
what books have you read that helped you look at your bottom line differently, or that changed your bottom line in life or in your business? What are some books that did that for you?
Look, there have been so many books change lives moments for me with books, and I give examples of them regularly. So, and the thing that's really cool, I bet, Brian, every time you do this interview with somebody gives you a list of books that are a different list of books,
Yep,
right?
Yep.
You know, so I'm going to tell you that one of the biggest, most impactful books in my life was a book that no one has read. None of you will have read. It's a book by Alan Watts. He's the guy who brought Zen. You've heard of it, Watts? God, you are really. He is one of the few.
Well, he's one of the few in a lot of ways.
So Watts brought Zen Buddhism to the United States, and he wrote a very, very small book. He wrote many books, but one of the books that he wrote was a very small book called The Book. I think it's 89 pages. And
I can even handle that.
I know anybody can
Yeah.
handle that, right? And I remember I had just had my first child, whose birthday is today, actually.
What's happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Lyron.
Yeah.
So his birthday is today. And I had just had my first kid. And I had come to the conclusion that I wanted to be a different parent than my parents had been.
Yeah.
And as we all
Yep,
do,
yep.
everybody who
Yep.
has a kid
Yep.
has this conclusion.
And we all have, we all have our philosophies. Like, this is the way.
This is exactly. I'm going to do it like this.
And then you find out
And
you have no idea what you're doing.
In that moment, I read Alan Watts's The Book, which is a pillow book. So do you know what a pillow book is? A pillow book is a book that in, I think it was ancient Japan, they would put a book on wedding nights under
the
your pillow.
Interesting.
Right, with sex positions, because people might not know what those positions would be.
Potentially.
And Watts starts the book by saying, today you can get access to sex positions from a lot of places. You don't need that. Okay, what you actually need is an understanding of how you as a human being work.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes on to talk about the importance, the lack of importance of ego, the way that you need to manage your ego as a human being, and the way that humanity actually works. It was for that moment, as I was thinking about how parenting could work for me, or how I could be a parent, it was extraordinarily elucidating. It was very, very helpful.
So, speaking of parenting, how would you describe your parenting style?
I think, like many parents, I was too much and not enough.
Yep. I can relate to that. Yeah. That's profound. Too much and not enough. Yeah.
I was both those things.
But where do you think you excelled?
I think I was I'll tell you, I think my kids will tell you that I was a great parent for a teenager. That I was the parent that everybody came to talk to in those years, because those are really, because I remembered those years, right? I have a lot of empathy for those years. And so I was a very useful parent in those moments when the world felt really, really sharp.
Yeah, I think I take a lot of stock in that, because I think I can really learn something from that, having some teenagers. I so wanted, I would be unrecognizable to you as a teenager. And
I think that's probably true of all of
yeah.
us. We were all of us not
yes.
like.
But my approach has been, I don't know, I think I've done a decent job, but I think it comes from a place of love. It's just, dude, you don't need to, like, I'm not saying this is right, but my philosophy is kind of like, you don't need to experience that. Like, you can avoid that, if and maybe it's necessary to have kind of fallen on your face a few times. And I think I've been trying to either prevent that or fast forward them a bit, and which is unfair.
I think it's really hard to do. I don't think it's unfair. I think it's just really hard to, like, people have to make their own
Correct.
stumbles.
Including myself.
and you know what really sucks is you really don't want them to.
Right.
Like,
Well,
you're
you
like,
see it coming.
you see, please, God, it's like a toddler, right?
Right.
Please, God, do not,
Right. Like, we can avoid this.
we could skip the whole thing.
So, a few more questions. If you were to write a book, first of all, what would it be about? And what would the title be?
I suspect I would write a book about risk taking, because I have a
Yeah.
fear about it.
Yeah, you're not risk adverse.
I am not risk averse. I am a surprisingly gutsy player in the game.
There's no doubt about that.
Right?
Well, I
Like-
think life lives in the uncomfort.
Yeah.
Right?
And I really and I think that there is so much in this moment. In this moment when the world is so deeply troubled. In this moment, there is so much that we can gain and help, right? So I think I would probably, write a
Okay,
book.
so I like the book about risk.
I have
Now,
no idea what it'd be called.
As soon as you said that, instantly a title popped into my head.
Okay, great.
Which
Brian,
I'm
what
not
was-
allowed to. I cannot say what I'm thinking right
All
now.
right, go for it, Brian.
I cannot do that. I
Why?
cannot disclose that. It's not appropriate.
Okay.
But
At some point, he'll tell me, I imagine.
correct.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll write that book and maybe you'll publish it. Come up with one. Come on.
No, I
What are you
think
afraid of? How about that? Question mark.
I don't think it would be that interesting. Did I mention to you I'm not that interesting, right? I
Yeah,
didn't tell you that.
Whatever. So speaking of interesting, I'm sure you're a pretty big personality. You know a lot of people. There's probably a lot of people who think they know you. What do you think would be something about you that would completely surprise people?
I think people expect me to be an extrovert, and I am probably
Amen.
one
Yep.
of the most deeply introverted people.
Yep.
I spend just doing this is going to be like I'm going to need to retreat for a while.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get it too. I'll have to do that with myself.
Right, but that's kind of like people look at kind of the exuberance and mistake it for extroversion.
Yes.
And I think the thing that's really interesting about me is that, at least that I find interesting about me, is that the passion comes from the passion for the subject,
Yeah.
not from my own sense of like
Right. Right.
that kind of energy.
Right.
Yeah.
2 more questions.
Oh, okay. You found 2 more now.
No, just 2 more. What's one question that you've never been asked that should be asked of you?
A question that I think would be very helpful for people that I wish people would ask about, and that we don't ask either men or women, is around kind of how we structure our lives. And by that I mean, I have the most extraordinary partner spouse. You've met him in the world. I think that, Brian, it takes that to do the kind of work that you and I do.
What's
Like-
that? You mean a great partner,
Yeah.
great rock?
And I think that almost the most important decision you make
Yep.
is actually who
Yeah.
you marry,
Yeah. Well, you know
or
what?
who you partner, or
Correct.
who you fall in love with, or who
Yeah.
take your pick about it. But I think that may actually, and that feels to me like, boy, is that a roll of the dice, right?
Pretty much.
Like
Yeah.
nutty, right?
Yes. Well, I put that in the category as no one's self-made.
Yeah,
And-
but I mean, it's like such a hard thing to get right, with like
Yep.
50% of people not getting it right, right? Like,
Correct.
so
Yep.
I think we don't quite say that to one another ever, and
Well, why don't you
yet-
say it right now? What makes your spouse extraordinary?
So my spouse has been 100% supportive of the work I do here, and it would not be possible without him
Amen.
at all. And I'll say one more thing. So I belong to the Committee of 200. It's the largest organization of women CEOs in the world. And periodically we'll have dinners among women CEOs. And these
Can
are
I hang out
very,
there or no?
Yeah, you could. You'd fit in really well.
I'm sure I could learn a lot. That's why I asked.
And periodically I sit around the table and talk to them. And one of the things that has, on television, how when they portray women CEOs, they're all miserable and they've got really shitty lives, and and they're alone and they're trying to figure out how to find a man, right? Okay, so I want you to know that when I sit around that table, they all have great partners. They don't all have kids. If they wanted kids, they have them. If they don't want kids, they don't have them. But you know what? These are really happy, successful women.
Yeah.
And that would be great to get that on screen someday.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, Sourcebooks is the largest woman-owned publisher in the world. And I just want to congratulate you on that. And it's just phenomenal what you built. And I know you haven't built it on your own.
I did.
You've built it with a lot of people that are here today and some that aren't.
Yep.
And I know you would subscribe to that. And I certainly do. Like, I get way too much credit. There's got to be a knucklehead.
There's a mythology. So one of the things that's a problem, and I think you know this, is there's a mythology of leadership, which is why I'm really glad that you do this about leadership, and that is largely wrong.
Yep. No doubt.
So,
all right, last question.
all right.
I promise.
Okay, I'm ready.
Then we'll drop the mic. When it's all said and done, how would you define your life's bottom line?
I actually like books change lives.
Yeah.
It's never been about me. I'm not, like I said to you, there ain't nothing here. I'm driven by, and I really mean this deeply. I think we do our best work. I do my best work when I'm following the purpose, the mission, the thing that really matters. If it's about me, it gets really boring fast.
Yeah. Well, appreciate that and appreciate your time. You're very busy. Thank you for hosting us here at Sourcebooks.
With Well-Read Cow.
The world headquarters. And I
Yes.
just want to tell you that I admire you as a person. I love you. I'm
I
grateful for all
love
your
you too,
support.
and I'm so thrilled we got to do this.
Yeah, so
you
thank
do
you so much.
incredible stuff, man. You know that.
Well, with the help of a lot of people. So
Yeah,
thank
me
you so
too.
much, including
Thank you.
Thank you.